Well, first and foremost, I'd say dating uh, 10 years ago or 15 years ago was much different from today. There's so many things to worry about when you look at the dating scene today. Things like your safety, you know, things like, when you meet someone, are you meeting him randomly or is this someone who is connected to someone who you know? Um, are you aware of this person's background, where their family comes from? Are you aware of, this person's former, or do you have some insight into their former relationships? Back in the day, I don't think we used to be worried about that, but now it looks like uh, today's woman, that would be a good idea to, maybe check with, I don't know how this is going to come across, but maybe check with an ex-girlfriend or maybe the, the mother of his children, if she is someone who's approachable, or maybe check with a cousin, maybe check with a coworker, just to get a little bit of background information on this person. So I think back in those days when we were dating, we didn't really worry about that. But now it looks like the dating strategy has to change a little bit to make sure that we keep ourselves safe.
Okay, you make a good point. So, um, to me, as you're talking, I'm thinking dating based on referrals and then dating based on like online dating. You made a good point. If you're doing online dating, you definitely do want to take safety precautions with, sharing your location, taking a picture where you parked. If you have hopefully you've got the profile of what the person looks like so that, your group or your tribe knows what they look like. And I mean, some people have even gone on dates and while they're in the place, like a restaurant or if they're meeting like at, I don't know, for coffee, that their friends are there just at a different spot so that eyes are on them. And I mean, like you mentioned, if you're dating for referral, definitely, hopefully you would have gotten some information from the person that's referring the individual over to you. Good point, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, just to talk about that, to add something on top of that, like Rivaro, these days, I think back then with our grandmothers, with our mothers, it was a little bit different, Uh, you kind of get groomed or kind of prepared like, hey, this is the family you're going to marry, or you're going to get married to this family because maybe they're rich, they're well off, or they're good people, they're Christians. These days, somebody can tell you like, hey, can you hook me up with a nice girl, um, when you meet this person, it's not like they know this person to like deep personal level. It's like, oh, I know this girl, she's single,
Mm-hmm.
in the market. So they just assume like she's a good girl, you dress nice. But really, we don't look deeper into like behaviors,
Yeah.
any background. We don't know anything. You just, get hooked up, you meet somebody and keep going.
Yes, yes, you make a good point about that. That's the thing that I was trying to really emphasize is doing your background, your background check. After remember how it was when you first start dating someone, right? You do your background check. You go on Facebook, you go through their friend list, to make sure, okay, you go through their comment section. Women are natural detectives, right? So women do different things. I'm not one. I haven't never really been one of someone who really snoops around, but I've done it before, But instead of us doing that when we're in the relationship, we need to be doing that before the relationship. Go through his Instagram, go through his Facebook, go through his friend list, go through his comments, see what people are saying to him, see what people are saying about him. Go through his LinkedIn, right? If he's a professional and you know what he's doing, Google him. Sometimes you Google someone and everything just pulls up. You can even check to see if someone has been arrested before. You could pay, it's a small fee. I think it's like $30 or $40. You could pay that $40 and, it might not give you too much of an extensive background, but it'll give you a touch, just enough information where you check and see, okay, has this guy been locked up before? And it'll let you know that. That's the kind of world that we're living in, because we're so advanced in technology. So we need to learn how to be advanced as well as women in order to protect ourselves. So let's go into the cultural aspect, because I love what you said, Naomi. Uh, we grew up here, you grew up in Kenya, and somewhere along the way we meet, right? Because we still have the cultural influence from our moms and from our aunts and from our dads and family members. But there is a difference back home. You talked about grooming, and I'm curious to know about that grooming process. And outside of, oh, I think you should marry him because he's from a decent family. Do you feel like you were groomed as a girl? And when I say girl, I don't mean little girl, but I mean as a young woman, maybe like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. Were you groomed and prepared for marriage?
Let me tell you this. We were not groomed on how to basically like live your life as a woman of God, I can say, in the Bible. But we were told, like, when you get married, you should respect your husband. So no matter what happens, even if you are abused, you should stay with him. Even if he marries the second wife, men have a right to marry 2, 3 wives. So, and this continued until now. The women are like, no, I'm not gonna stick with this. Or still some women, they don't want to talk about it because you feel like, if I'm gonna tell my parents, it's not working, they're gonna be like, well, he already paid the dowry, so you're gonna have to stay. You're
Wow.
gonna have to make it work. And so now moving here, especially in America or these countries where women are empowered, you can be able to go to college and earn your degree or be able to support your kids. You're not gonna stay in abusive relations just because your parents want you to stay in the relationship. And it's becoming like kind of conflict because now the society looks at you in kind of different way.
That's right. That's right. I don't know, T, if you have something to add to that, because I wanted to tag on Naomi real quick.
Go ahead. Go ahead and tag.
Okay. There's something that you mentioned. You mentioned one of the first things that came to my mind while you were talking was family, protecting the family name, from the shame, from the embarrassment, because obviously, like you said, you mentioned the dowry factor. And, the fact that everyone in the community knows that you're married, that you're settled down, and, you have the, like they say here in America, the white picket fence, so obviously your parents, African parents take pride in that, right? They take pride in knowing that their daughters are settled down, they're taken care of.